name's Brian. This is my new channel. I'm going to start with an introductory of some basic stuff. Just wanted to give you guys a little bit of how to fix a graphics card that doesn't work. I'll include a picture probably right about here that will show what the graphics display was when it was plugged in. I got it as part of a bundle, bunch of video cards. Oddly enough, all but one worked. Surprised me too. So, the one that didn't work was this GTX 550 Ti. Today's standards, pretty basic, run-of-the-mill, low-end, not even typically worth using card, but I wanted to use it to do a little video. Everybody's heard, or should have heard, of the baking method to fix graphics cards with this kind of an issue. This method, however, is less toxic and will not cause you to never be able to use your oven again. And on top of that, only cost about 13 bucks. So, heat gun, easily available on Amazon or any other major retailer for about 12-13 bucks. Rubbing alcohol available at your local stores for usually under $2. Thermal paste, again I went with a little bit pricier Arctic Silver, but pretty much any thermal paste will go. These can be purchased for anywhere from $1 or $2 up to $10 or $12 for a container. Q-tips, which are $2 or $3 at Walmart for 500 plus. And then your pick of screwdrivers. Today I'm going to use my Stanley kit, not sponsored by them, just I like this particular size for this particular job. But a magnetic screwdriver tip can be really helpful if you lose screws easily. And for $1.50 at certain stores, like we have Daiso, which is a Japanese Asian store that sells cheap items. $1.50 comes with a bunch of heads that are interchangeable, but I don't need it for today's video. I'm just going to use my Stanleys, which were about 10 bucks at Walmart. And again, heat gun, available on Amazon. And one of the most important tools for today, a box. And I'll show you why it's so important in a moment. We're going to also use a couple of paper towels, probably only use one, but I have two just in case. And we're going to use a timer set for 20 minutes once we get started. So, with today's build, what we're doing here is we're going to first take apart the graphics card. This particular one only has 4 screws that we're going to have to take out. So, we're going to grab the tools. Grab our screwdriver, just a standard everyday Phillips head screwdriver. Bigger one would work, but I like the feel of this one in my hands. Now sometimes, depending on the age of the card, the screws may be a little more difficult to come out. I went ahead and pre-loosened these yesterday, although they were not very difficult to get out. I just didn't want to fiddle with it while I'm doing this. We'll need that later, so I'm just going to leave it out for now. So now, the graphics card, we're going to break it apart. I fully expect that the thermal paste will be dried out and old, but somebody may have replaced it in the past, so let's find out. And it does look like it has been relatively recently replaced, so somebody was probably trying to fix it before using it and couldn't, so they gave it in the bundle. So, paper towels, it's a train. So, paper towels we're just going to clean up here. Now, I'm going to speed up the video a little bit because for the next few seconds, it's going to be just me wiping this down off of here, and we really don't need that. So, just to prepare a Q-tip, just a little bit of rubbing alcohol onto the tip of the Q-tip. Squeezing the bottle will get it up there so you don't have to worry about it. Oop, a little bit extra. And just scrub it and it'll come off. It just takes a little elbow grease. So I'm going to go ahead and scrub it this for a minute and then I will resume the regular video feed. I guess it's going to be a little more difficult, so I'm going to scrape it off. And so we've got a really dirty Q-tip, relatively dirty paper towel, mostly clean but really old card that's really not worth messing with any further. On a newer card, however, you will not want to use a screwdriver to scratch at it because you'll scratch the plate. But on this card, we're not terribly worried about it, as the card's already an old card that's beyond its expected lifespan anyway. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to perform the little fix. So for this particular fix, we're going to use a variant of what's referred to as the baking method. What happens is, causing the image that I showed you before, is the little soldering joints inside the CPU area break down from being heated up by being run and then cooling off after not being used, and heating up, cooling off. It does what's called a microfracture inside on the soldering. So we're going to use this box to prop this up so that it holds it steady and everything without having to be held. We're going to use this heat gun, and we're going to time it. It takes about 20 minutes, and just watch through how simple it is to do. I'm going to speed through it until the alarm goes off. So for the next 20 minutes, give or take, all you're going to see is a really fast speed up, me going back and forth over it. The only key to it is to make sure you do not ever touch the actual CPU once it starts getting warm, or jostle the card, because then the points can actually be permanently moved and never go back to place, and then your card's completely dead no matter what. So we are going to start our 20-minute timer. Start a little thing, and just constantly above about ½ an inch. This is so much fun. I'd rather do this than watch TV. Alright, so it looks like the 20-minute timer is up. I'm just going to give it a few extra seconds here. Alright, so now the next thing is we're going to set this off for about 20 minutes to cool down. I did accidentally tap it with the tip while I was doing something, checking the time. Because of that, it may not function, may still be fine, but you do want to be careful not to touch with any kind of pressure during the process or until it's fully cooled. So we're going to set it off for, again, 20 minutes. We're going to start 20-minute timer. However, during this 20 minutes, I will go ahead and do a shout out real quick to Christopher Yee. I'll link his videos or his YouTube account as well as his Discord channel. He's been a great help and great encouragement to myself as well as others. Also, Kyle Bitwit, Paul's Hardware, and Jay's 2 Cents are all great resources as well. None of them have sponsored me or asked me to do that. I just wanted to go ahead and let you guys know there are other people out there that can give you some great advice as well. So we're going to let this cool for a few minutes, and then I will resume the video and we will put the heatsink back on, and then we will test it out and see how it works. See you in a few. Alright, so it's been another 20 minutes. We've let it cool off. I'm going to go ahead and do a little tiny bit more touch up now that it's cooled off. Get rid of some more of this thermal paste that's on here before putting on new stuff. And then we'll go ahead and put it back together. So now, with this part here, it's just a little cleanup, no big deal. Let it dry. Now, this container of thermal paste is way more than you need for just one of these, so you can get a smaller container if you're going to be only doing one item, or even a CPU and a GPU, but I do a lot more. I use this on a bunch, so just take a little dab. Unlike some videos that have been recently done where they put tic-tac-toe board across it, we're only going to put a dab. They usually suggest about the size of a grain of rice. I believe mine's a little bigger, but it should be fine. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put the heat sink back on with the thermal paste applied. And we just need to line up these screws here. Now with these screws, we do want to go in a star style shape, kind of like you do on tires on a car. And you want to make sure you do not apply too much pressure. Don't want to break the PCB board, which is the main board to the card. You don't want to smash the CPU, so you just want to go until it's tight. Gives you a little snug feeling. And then you just check to make sure they're all nice and neat. There we go. And if I had grabbed a soft toothbrush, like an old one, I would have done a little dusting on this, but shouldn't be needed. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to cut again, because I'm just going to go and test it on my test bench that's in a hideously disorganized place. And then I'll take a picture of the display and we'll see if it worked. So went ahead and ran the test again. And I'll include a picture right about here. And so it failed this time. I'll include some before and afters of what it looked like on a different card that I did this technique on, and it worked. It sometimes works, it sometimes fails. Even the baking method is like that. The positive to this is that you won't poison your oven, so that future bakings won't, kill people that eat food out of it. Whereas this, you've released the same gases, but because it's in a room as opposed to a little box, it doesn't poison the air to where you're going to die from breathing it if you do it once in a while. Whereas in the oven, the gases are released into the oven, and it then bakes it into the actual walls of the oven, causing it to permanently destroy the usability for health reasons of the oven. So this method is safer. It has a fail rate just like the baking method does. If you research it, you'll see that the baking method doesn't always work either, but who knows, maybe yours will work with this method. It is a simple process overall. It does fail sometimes, but in the end, saving yourself a graphics card can be worth the $12 of a heat gun and a couple dollars of other items. But, if you found this video useful and helpful, or an insight that gives you an idea for something else, feel free to like and subscribe. I do plan on having other videos, including at least one more this month before the end of the month, showing a custom build that I'm going to change a pre-built into a Halloween make and model. So have a good day, and hopefully your baking works better than mine did this time. See you later.